Better watch day. Today is a good day. Good day. And I want to wish you a happy Thanksgiving. I'm not being facetious, but in my heart, my Thanksgiving is every day. With the morning star to the moon and the stars. It is time for Thanksgiving. We have our morning thank you prayer among the Lakota men, which is our duty to thank the Great Mystery for all that is. See, we do not try to define the undefinable. We choose to live in the world provided by us by the mysterious one, the Great Mystery. And the world that the Great Mystery provides for everyone is its destiny. And that's as well as in our hearts. When you begin the day with a thank you prayer, and you live the day in thanksgiving, and enter into the world of sleep, the world of dreams, that's when you understand that there is no such thing as possession. Everything belongs to everyone. With that philosophy, as primitive as it may sound, is how we live in this land. I come from a people that have a language that has been ascertained by linguists, learned linguists of Europe and the United States, to be the most expressive languages on earth, the Indian languages of the Western Hemisphere. In all those languages, as I have gone to South America, to Central America, and throughout North America, visiting the indigenous people, my people, up and down this hemisphere, whether they be Aztecs, Mayans, Najas, the descendants of the Inca, all the way up to Point Barrow, the northernmost point in the United States, among the Yupik and the Inupiat people of Alaska, erroneously called Eskimos. Excuse me. I have not found a language in the Western Hemisphere, including the Aleuts also, where we have a word for war or warrior. Imagine it, an entire hemisphere with the most expressive languages on earth, according to your linguists, and they have no word for war. I find that true among our cousins, the island people of the Pacific, among their languages. Now, there probably are exceptions. I have yet to meet them. But for each exception, it only goes to prove the rule. When a people know that every blade of grass, every grain of sand, every cloud in the sky, every leaf on a tree is sacred, it would be very hard to come up with the concept of war. When you give thanks, before you chop down a tree, you give thanks to the sacrifices, the suffering, and the teachings of that tree. To make a teepee pole, I know because I've done it. When you tear up our grandmother the earth to plant seeds, you thank her for her sacrifices and sufferings and generosity. When you have that kind of prayers and ceremonies, it's very difficult to think of possessions. You know, I come from a people who are very romantic. Now, whomever is non-Indian and has their viewpoint of us, I invite them to come live with us. Not on an Indian reservation. Not among the indigenous people who have been schooled in your schools. I'm talking about those that are still free. Still following the ways of their ancestors. They're very few and far between. But you can still find them in the Western Hemisphere. The free people, living like they've been ordained. And find out, like I have, about their language. Because languages will tell you the hearts of the men. Those types of languages that are not as expressive as mine, therefore have a limited worldview. Thanksgiving. We did give you land. We did give you food. We did teach you how to use the food, plant the food, nourish the food, harvest the food, and how to cook the food. You see, it's also a fact, a scientific fact, that the American Indian people has provided the world with 75% of the world's foodstuffs. 75%. I'll give you some examples. You know, we didn't create corn, it was given to us. But we did develop 6,000 species of corn, as we developed 10,000 species of potatoes. And tomatoes. All kinds of tomatoes. Different species of tomatoes. Because the soil is different in different areas. And there's the height or the depths of different kinds of earth in every area. So you have to adapt to the way our grandmother would like you to adapt. Now, the evil of possession Why is that so important? To possess rather than to give. We're entering that season now. It's supposed to remind us. Excuse me. It's supposed to remind us about the art and the beauty of giving. And I have noticed in all the world, in all my travels, that there is no celebration for taking. I've been in a lot of places in Europe, been on the African continent, the Middle East, in Asia, Pacific Islands, and I've yet to find a ceremony for taking, possessing. Catholic Church doesn't. The Baptists, they have no celebrations for taking, possessing. Why is it that's the main force in the world we live in, except for a couple of days? One in November and one in December. Why? I'm not familiar with the art of possession, possessing. You know, that's why there's war. That's what I come to understand. There's war because of that need to possess. Is it because of greed? Is it because of selfishness? Is it because of fear? Or is it because of all of the above? Why celebrate Thanksgiving and giving, period, just one day out of the year? Why not every day? Why not every hour? Why not every night? It's a question I've had ever since I was a little boy. And my dad would be absent on Christmas. And I would wonder why. It's supposed to be a time of giving. And where was my dad? And go to school. This was in Northern California. I'd see kids my age in grade school fighting over marbles. And I wonder why. Why was possession so important? So in this age of Thanksgiving, I want you to think about those things. Try to do it every morning. On waking. Make it your duty to think about Thanksgiving. And then I can be turned around. Okay.